welcome back to Concrete with the Hosses. I'm Steve, and today you're going to get to see a pretty neat set of steps we're doing for a buddy of mine. We got it all formed up, and we were doing that kind of later in the afternoons after work during the week, so sorry you didn't get to see any of the prep work. But I'll take you through everything, what we're doing, how we're going to hopefully do it, and boy, I hope everything goes according to plan. Let's check it out. Here's the setup we have. Just this massive new porch and steps. There's a saying when it comes to something like this: brace until you think it's good and then brace some more. So we got what I believe is to be overkill on the bracing. Jim's gonna throw a couple more off this corner here and this corner here, so that whenever we get that concrete in there, it doesn't push the steps this way. Now what we did was took 70 cinder block, right Josh? 70 cinder block, 70 10-inch cinder block, and piled them up in there against the house because wet concrete weighs a ton. And whenever you get into something like this, pouring this much concrete up against, you know, an older foundation, you want to try to avoid any sort of potential cracking or pushing in that foundation. So we have our cinder block all set up. We ran shingles across the top to cover any gaps, to cover any holes. That way we don't lose concrete down there. As you can see, we have a pretty killer rebar grid in here. It's going to be tied in all nice and together. And then we screwed, yes, we screwed our liner, our broken stone liner, the whole way down there, so that we didn't have to try being down in this 5-foot hole trying to hold all this liner while we're pouring. And then as you can see, we joint clipped more of the broken stone liner on the faces of the steps. And that is our mixer pulling in, so we're going to go ahead and get him directed in. Alright guys, so everything went just according to plan. We were able to nose the mixer right up into here, and we're just going to slowly run this concrete out, and just very, very slowly we're going to fill this up. We don't want anything pushing, we don't want to hit it with too much weight too quick. So this is going to be a little bit slower of a process, but hopefully you enjoy it. So here we are, back in this corner where the chute got to. I'd say we're probably about halfway full. Now as Mike runs the runs the concrete out, it's running down here, and we're pouring this at about a 4-inch sump. It's still, you know, we just barely hit it with the vibrator, ever so slightly. We don't want to put too much movement in it with there being this much weight, but watch what happens when I do this. It kind of takes off. So you just give it a couple light zaps, and it's slowly oozing down into here, into these bottom 4 or 5 steps. I would say we're probably about a third of the way full in this area, so we're just going to give this a minute, let it start to tighten up. But as you can see, we have more rebar coming across the top here for their landing, and then our rebar grid extends back into there. So boy, I hope the homeowners don't call me if this needs torn out. Haha. right, guys, steps are poured and everything is looking good and straight. I don't see any bulging. I don't see any pushing. Everything is looking as it should be. That is a massive set of steps. So the concrete's setting up pretty nice for us. We got done pouring it, what, 20 minutes ago?
Yeah.
And it's ready to trowel the top on this pad. I might choose to give it an extra 10 or 15 minutes before we start pulling those faces on the steps, just because we don't want anything to push with how well that pour went. You know, we just want to keep everything as straight as possible. But the one thing I did want to show you guys, not sure if you remember it from the one video, but now that we're troweling it, we take our trusty bag here, and this siding pops out along with this door sill. So what we do is we take our plastic bag and we dab it there to kind of mimic a slate texture, and then we'll run our wheel. This is a rolled slate finish, so we'll run our wheel down here and just pick up there. That way we have texture the whole way to the siding. So this is going real nice. Everything's setting up real nice for us. We'll go ahead and get this pad all rubbed up and probably stand around for another 20 or 30 minutes. Start pulling. Okay, so the top of that pad's ready to roll. And as you've seen in our previous videos, we're going to spray it down with liquid release with Storm Gray antiquing in it. So we get the wheel, nice little coating so we don't get any stickage. Now the steps, I didn't do a final trowel on those, still waiting to pull those faces. So you want to be pretty careful about how you spray this on. Get it close to the edge. You can see on the 2x8s there, it's spraying out with some nice color in it. And the homeowner swears up and down that he's getting new siding put on.
Got new siding going on in the house. It's gonna look a lot better.
So Josh, how you feeling about this project?
I'm excited. Have a nice little patio, some steps to come down. Kids to ride around on the bike. So it's a good day.
Yeah, it's a good day. We're gonna walk up here and get a nice roll down the side of the house. Got some stickage on that wheel. No big deal. So anytime you get any stickage like this on your wheel, just come over to your sprayer, give it a nice spray to clean it off. You should be good. Then you just retouch up whatever's stuck. Back in business. And anytime you do get some stickage like that, you want to roll kind of slowly over top of it. If you roll too fast, it just mushes it. So nice slow rolls. We can switch to our big wheel now. So again, spray the roller down. Nice. Make sure you keep shaking that sprayer up too. It helps keep that colored pigment floating around. now that we hit it, we covered the area hitting it one way. Come over here and hit it this way a couple different times to break up that repeating pattern. Now with the amount of step liner we had to use here, we didn't really have a choice, but we had to piece some areas together. So anytime you have to do that, you'll get this little line. You can just take your finger, give her a little rub. Just blends right in. And this stuff too. Break that away.
The new siding will come right up against it.
Oh yeah. Now that we got that taken care of, we want to scratch this down to our height. Now you can just take right over the edge.
Sure you don't want me out there helping this piece?
Oh yeah. This is rubbing real nice. All good, Jimmy. All good. Got it all floated up. It's nice and flat with a little fall coming out this way, so the water drains off. Take your trowel, buzz down that. And then again, at the base of the step there, our roller is not going to be able to reach that, so we want to take our bag, just rough it up a little bit. Again, this just helps to mimic that slate texture, and then our roller will go right over top of that and blend it in. Alright, so there's all of the faces are pulled. Everything held up good, nothing pushed. All of our tops are troweled smooth. So I'm going to pass the camera off to Jim, and we're going to roll the top of these so we can get textured. So we have our sprayer fuller release. Give it a good shake. Remember, that's important. You want that pigment to stay mixed up. Give everything a good spray. Get the faces too, that way we get some coloring on those. So now I'm going to go ahead and dig this dirt away. We didn't put any step liner here because we're going to be doing a sidewalk as well as a stamped patio here. So our sidewalk will be coming off here. So I'm going to pull this, I'm gonna chip away the concrete there to make it flat so we can put a piece of 1/4-inch expansion joint against it. And that'll be the next project here. So we started pulling all of our kickers and everything. And this is a very good sign. We started pulling our kickers and the board popped. Not popped, just moved a little bit. That tells me, since we have this gap here, that the way we built this whole side is just all one. So you have a lot of weight here. So this pulling out on its own, that's the weight of the forms wanting to fall. The concrete didn't push. We have a nice big gap there. So everything's holding real good. So we pulled our top liner here. Got a nice broken stone. A little bit of roughage right there, but this is where we just kind of go along and rub everything up and kind of touch everything up with our fingers. Break off that oozage there. And then right here on the corners where our step liners met, we had a gap. All you do there, just give it a little pinch, rough it up, blends right in. And now whenever we color this side with our release, all this will just blend right in again. So here we go. Alright, so we finally got all the forms off. Everything is stripped and pulled. We have a little bulge in the middle, but you know, for as much weight as this was, I'm chalking this one up to a win.
I don't even see that bulge, Steve.
This is a massive hunk of concrete. So we are we're gonna do the final coloring here on the sides. All right, sides are all colored. Top's all textured. Back's all pulled and colored. Look at that. All right, guys, so I have to leave for the weekend, but Monday when we get back, I'm gonna come down here and get it all sealed up with extra gator grip. That is for sure. So have a good weekend.
Good.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It went very smooth. So.
Real smooth. You ready for the sidewalk and patio?
Absolutely.
Nice.
Ready for a beer.
Awesome.